Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel. I am the real Cass Perry, and, well, today we need to talk about something that is, I'm gonna be completely honest, I am not entirely sure why, but this specific well, I know why, and I probably shouldn't specifically get into why, but this topic upsets me quite muchly, and it makes me very worried for a specific person's health. And the thing is that I have no idea why I'm worried about this person specifically, but I'm really worried, and it's making me really emotional, and I don't get it, and I don't understand why this has become a thing in my mind constantly, but it's bad, guys. It's bad. Y'all need to understand this is really, really bad. This is scary. This is a terrifying situation, and I don't even really know how to begin talking about it because it's a very sensitive situation. The thing that I am planning to talk about today is Eugenia Cooney and her weight and her obvious issues with her eating disorder that she has not been getting help from. It makes me very sad, because at the end of the day, she is obviously an extremely sweet person who needs a lot of help. And she's not getting the help that she needs. And it seems to be specifically because her mother had... This is just speculation. What I'm about to say right now is simply speculation. I do believe that her mother has some sort of Munchausen syndrome, and that it somehow stems in that Eugenia's obvious eating disorder somehow stems from that. I think that Deb has been encouraging her to not eat. I think that they keep her under lock and key so that people are not able to help her. I think that Deb simply feeds off of the attention that Eugenia is getting, because her parents are already quite wealthy. They do not need Eugenia's money. She is not a cash cow for them, okay? Like, I'm sorry, but she isn't. They already had money. They had money before she started you now. So this has nothing to do with Deb making money off of Eugenia. But I do believe that it has a lot to do with the attention that Eugenia gets, and Deb getting some sort of gratification from the amount of attention that her daughter gets from being underweight. I'm sorry, but she's starving to death. She is literally starving to death, and I understand. I know how she feels. I'm going to talk more about how about my understanding of this and such later on, but I do. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is the fact that Eugenia supposedly, well, she did get forced into recovery by her friends just a few years ago. And for some reason, her friends are being treated as though they're some kind of criminals and have been completely cut out of her life, and her parents won't let them have anything to do with her. And, like, the things that Deb said to these girls and this young boy, simply because they were trying to help her daughter, is just absolutely appalling. So first we're going to look at Eugenia's side of the story, because it's the difference in the way that she portrays this and the way that her friends portrayed this is kind of Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking time to sit down with me.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me here.
Of course, of course. I've been wanting to talk to you. Honestly, for those of you who don't know, Eugenia and I've only met like one time.
I think at Playlist, right?
Yes.
Like years ago now.
You were dressed like a Pokemon.
Yeah, I think you outfit on.
And it was only because my friend Michael Buckley was talking to you and I wanted to say hi and introduce us. He's so nice. I talk to my audience all the time about getting help, and I've had videos about 5150s and all sorts of treatment options. And so today I just really want to talk about your story and how you ended up getting help. Because I know a lot of us are scared to reach out.
Yeah, and I totally get that. I think sometimes it can be kind of so hard to reach out and kind of hard, I guess, to know like what to expect and
to admit that you have an issue and to say like it warrants help, because a lot of you are worried, what if they don't take me seriously, or what if I'm not sick enough? We have a lot of those concerns.
Yeah, and I would kind of feel some of those too.
Yeah.
But I guess like for me, kind of like it always sounded really crazy to a lot of people, because I guess for so long online there's so many people like making videos and all my comments are just kind of spammed with like comments with my body and telling me that I need help. But I guess sometimes it's still kind of hard to see things the way other people do sometimes. At least for me it was. And also I guess kind of like it's like you said, it's kind of like it's hard to actually like realize and admit to yourself that.
Well, yeah, the eating disorder always tells us we're not sick.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's always, and we know that. We talk about it all the time, how it'll tell us that it always has a different goal.
So, and that is a thing. People who actually have eating disorders, people who suffer through this and are trying to get help and have a very hard time with recovering, they do have that inner voice and they have that inner mind's eye. They never ever see themselves the way that they actually look. They never ever, like when you look in the mirror, you look 20 to 30 pounds heavier to yourself than you actually are. They never acknowledge that their body is feeling terrible, because if they acknowledge that, then that means that they're acknowledging that there is a problem, and they are constantly telling themselves that nothing is wrong. They need nothing to be wrong in order to have this extreme, in order to maintain the idea that their extremely unhealthy thing that they are doing is somehow still good for them. And I know, I understand, I have been there myself, and it is a terrifying thing to have to deal with yourself. Like, it's scary. And the fact that Eugenia had to deal with this for so long and nobody stepped in is absolutely terrifying to me. But the fact that she's calling everybody who is worried about her bullies, the fact that she is, and I mean, I will be the first person to say she gets a lot of horrible people in her comments who are saying extremely mean things. That, I'm going to be completely honest, that is not going to help, guys. She needs love and support. She needs people to tell her that she is great. She needs to eat to live so that she can still be here, so that she can continue being the great, amazing person that she is. So that I'm just gonna.
We can never achieve, and once we achieve that, it's a different goal, and that's why eating disorders can be so difficult to reach out and get help for.
Totally.
Sorry. So back to
sorry.
when you were getting.
I feel like I'm like so bad at talking about it sometimes still. So
no,
sorry.
it's okay. It can be really difficult.
It can be, but yeah, actually, like it was kind of, I guess, well, there was like a conversation with me and my mom, which she kind of has brought up some concerns to me in the past, which on one thing I never really talked too much about that, because like
what's your personal
stuff? And but there has been, I guess, like sometimes in the past where she would like mention to me that she was kind of, I guess, seeing that I was having a problem, and that it was, I guess, getting to not the best point.
Yeah, she worried about you.
Yeah, and then she was like worried, and I guess like a lot of time I would kind of try to like brush it off and be like, well, it's fine, you know, like I'm okay, like
don't worry about me.
Yeah, don't worry about it. And then I guess like kind of, you know, she would just kind of be like, I think like still concerns, but I guess you can't really force anyone to.
No, and I think that's I've talked about that a lot.
And now, notice that Eugenia is saying that her mother was worried. She is saying that her mother was trying to step in. She was saying that she wanted to give her help. But the thing is that where is the help? And the people who were actually trying to help her and make her get help, why didn't she actually let them step in and make her get help? Why didn't she let them make her go to the hospital? Why? Ugh, it's just so... Ugh. So, now we're gonna listen to what Eugenia's ex-friends, I guess, well, they're still her friends, she is simply not their friend because she is horrible to them, but we're going to see what they have to say about all of these videos and everything that Eugenia's been saying, and what the video that Shane did. We're actually going to watch this whole thing rather than just, like, I can't, some of this is actually very, very upsetting for me, like, to a point where it makes me cry, and I cannot cry on camera. Do you have any idea how much time I spent on my makeup? I can't do this again! I'm sorry. That was a bit over the top, but let's go.
There's a lot in that video that was untrue, and I feel very confused because this is very similar to a thing we had before where we had to make a choice between something that could possibly hurt Eugenia but thought it was for her best interests. And I think right now this video is gonna piss her off. I mean, she has right now a seemingly beautiful recovery story that I don't want to mess with. I don't want to make seem negative. I would love for everything in that video to have been the whole truth, so that it could truly be celebrated, but it was, I think, a manipulation. And I think potentially, I don't know if Shane knows the whole story, or maybe he does, but not the details potentially, and decided to go along with it because he thought it would help her. I think that he has her best interests at heart.
Now, I think that Jacqueline Glenn is a very sweet girl, and she tried her best to do the right thing, and she is trying so hard to be very, very nice to everybody involved here. But I'm gonna be honest, Shane Dawson has never had anybody's best interest at heart, okay? I'm sorry, but no. That man is one freaky deaky little bugger. I'm sorry, guys, I don't feel that great. But no, that man is one freaky deaky little bugger. Like, he has been doing weird shit and acting creepy and being around people who are not mentally capable enough to understand the weird shit that he does around them since forever. Since I was a little kid. Like, I used to watch Shane Dawson and Eugenia and Jeffree Star and all of these guys when I was younger. The only one of them that has even a single part of their body that actually has an ounce of kindness in them is Eugenia Cooney. I'm sorry, but Shane Dawson does not have anybody's best interest in anything. He's something. He likes to put on these airs of, I'm an extremely good person, and I just don't understand that I was offending people. I don't understand, but that's just it. He was not just offending people. He was being completely fucking vulgar and being gross with kids. And this is all allegedly, by the way. It's alleged. He was allegedly vulgar and allegedly gross with kids. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Shane Dawson does not have anybody's best interest in mind. He was doing that for the publicity. He did that for the views. Shane's a really weird, like, it's creepy how good of an actor Shane Dawson actually is. Like, he's really good at pretending to be a good person when behind closed doors, he is one scary motherfucker in the brain. But anyway, let's get back to what...
I have stayed very silent for a long time for fear of her not getting treatment. It was communicated to me that if I ever talked about what actually happened, that there was a chance that as a result she'd be pulled out of treatment. So I never said anything because I was terrified. I had Keemstar on the phone with me trying to get information, and I didn't know what to do. He was very understanding, and I appreciate that he didn't say anything because I felt like I was going to ruin that. You guys help me out. I don't know.
This entire video feels it's a beautiful story, but I still feel fear very much for Eugenia. There's a lot more to the story and to the situation. They glossed over some things that are extremely important in Eugenia's real recovery. And I think that it's important that she, number one, knows that we care about her. We were discussed
so much
in this video as bullies and brought up as bad people, and we had probably the hardest time of our lives to help her. And we knew that it was risking our friendship to help her, and we had to lie to her.
I had nightmares. I've lost sleep. Like, we have to explain what we did, but like doing what we did, it took a lot out of me. I don't know how to start.
The situation has been, her life has been manipulated for years, and it's currently still being manipulated right in front of everyone.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful story, right? Like, it looks like watching Shane's video, it's such like a happy, feel good.
And we should be happy.
It's completely covering all of the shit that is still there, I think, and could still be a problem. And there are still puppet strings right now being pulled that I like. It's all out there now. I mean, if there's a Shane Dawson video, right, everybody's gonna know at least enough to, I feel like, take the pressure off of me to keep my mouth shut. Like, I felt like I had like people just like holding a gun at me, like, and saying, if you say anything, this and this could happen, and now it's gone and it's down, and I can be honest, and I feel like a dick because I had to lie, pretend like I didn't know what was going on. People constantly harassing me, thinking, wow, you're a shitty friend. All of us, like, you guys are shitty friends because you have this girl in front of you that you're doing nothing for. But we were doing everything. Like, and one of the things that bothers me the most is that she said they seemed like they didn't care until they were bullies. I talked to her so many times, and she had the same response. I'm fine, everything's fine. Like, there's nothing to worry about.
And that's just it. Eugenia's mother has her convinced that these three wonderful people who were so worried and so upset and who cared so much about her were bullying her because she's too thin. Do you know how disgusting that is? That is not her that is not these people bullying her. That is these people showing that they are worried about your daughter, showing that they care more about your child than you do. Okay? Okay, Deb Cooney? God damn it. You are a okay. I just have to say this. I know that she's probably not going to see it, but Deborah Cooney, you are a disgusting human being. Every single thing that I have learned about you over the last, I don't know how long, because I have actually been a fan of Eugenia's since I was a little kid, and you know what? You are a horrible person, and you treat her badly, and you let Jeffree Star have a conservatorship over her, knowing how horribly and deplorable that man is, and how terribly he treats your child. You're sick. You are a sick, disgusting individual, Deborah Cooney, and you need to be stopped. You need to be put in freaking prison for letting your daughter get to that point and not stepping in yourself to do what these people did to help your kid. You sick, fucking, disgusting piece of Scheissehoffen. Anyway.
And it was very similar to what you would see her reactions be in live streams when people would ask her, are you okay? It was always, yeah, I'm fine.
And it was also the exact same communication that would happen whenever police would come to her house, which is a very real thing, and many people on the internet were calling the police, we were calling the police, and there's a lot of red tape on that, but when they would answer the door and they had a script and they would turn the police away, and this video with Shane is another example of a script and the police or Shane in the situation walking away feeling that that person is fine, and I don't know if that's the truth.
And that's it. Everything in that video was scripted. It wasn't just Eugenia's side. It was Shane's parts of it too. That whole thing was so obviously scripted that it's so gross and ridiculous. I can't even. Ugh. And you know what? It was all scripted in a way to make Eugenia's mom look better than she actually is. Like, she's actually trying to do something to help her child, which she isn't. Like, the whole thing was literally scripted to try to make Deb look better, and, like, she was trying to help, and, like, she wasn't there as often as she is, literally keeping her daughter under lock and key with bells on the doors to wake her up, to let her know if Eugenia's trying to walk outside without her. Does that make sense? I cannot think of any other reason that somebody would have bells on the door and continually ask their 30-year-old daughter what they're doing when they hear the bells go off and tell them, no, you go back inside and go look at the moon from in through the window. Because that was on a TikTok live not long ago. I really should have got a screen recording of that, and I don't know why I didn't. If anybody did, can you please send it to me? Yeah, that's absolutely terrifying to me. Like, and even in the Shane Dawson video, there were so many locks on the doors and stuff. I'm going to get a clip of that. But there were literally locks all up and down the doors.
A lock for it, I guess, but it's off now. Yeah, that was another thing that like I thought was weird.
It's very heavy. Oh.
Yeah, there's
Oh my gosh.
like walks one day, and I don't even know, like, I don't know what happened in this house before all of that, but
Well.
and the neighbors kept telling us, they're like, oh, like, watch out, because like they have black cars. It's really weird. Nothing's happened now. Now everything seems like it's good. Oh, all right. Is there any more locks? Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, what?
Oh, here's it.
Oh,
One more down there.
they really protect this house. Oh my gosh.
Like, why would they need that many locks? And she was talking about, oh, well, the people who used to own this house might have had mafia connections. Ha ha ha, but the cars stopped coming. Baby girl, who lied to you? I'm sorry, but you're not going to find that out after you buy a house from somebody unless there's, like, some kind of evidence left behind. And I didn't see any evidence of a mafia lord living there. What I seen evidence of was two extremely rich parents who over-decorate their house in a whimsical way that also have a lot of extreme security measures that don't seem to only be keeping things from coming in, they also seem to be keeping people from going out. If you catch my drift. And it's not just the front door. There are bells on all their doors. There are, like, multiple locks on all their doors. Like, their house has way too many, I can't say too many locks on it because you can't ever be too safe, but that seems like an extreme amount of safety. Like, that seems like the amount of locks that you would need with the amount of, like, it takes effort to undo 7, like, different types of locks. And to have them on the bottom and top of the door. Like, that would take effort and time to get them all undone. And they were noisy locks. Therefore, if anybody's close by, they're definitely going to hear those locks being undone. And have time to go get to that person before all of those locks are undone. Now, to a lot of people, this would just look like home security. But to me personally, with Eugenia's weight, the different ways that Deb acts with her daughter, like the weird little passive-aggressive, just her expressions and the way that she speaks and the fake tone with the exasperated facial expression, all together, it just screams, I hate my daughter. And it doesn't make any sense to me why anybody would not only feel like that, but put their kid through that. Because, I'm sorry, who is convincing Eugenia that she needs to keep losing weight? Because it definitely isn't any of her viewers. They're all telling her, please eat something. Which, by the way, guys, is not going to help somebody who has an eating disorder. Telling somebody, please eat something when they have an eating disorder, it doesn't help them. It actually makes it worse for some reason. It makes them not want, it makes people who have eating disorders, when you look at them and tell them they need to eat something, it makes them not want to eat. But especially people who are as far gone as Eugenia, they cannot start with solid foods. It is not as easy as, oh, pick up a cheeseburger, go eat some french fries, munch something down, go eat a loaf of bread. No, that is not going to work. So, if I could actually have the chance to sit down and talk to Eugenia Cooney about the recovery process from where she is at this moment, because she is in a scary place at this moment, like, she looks like she is on the verge of not being here anymore. The one thing that, if I had a chance to talk to Eugenia Cooney, I would tell her that she needs to start having some sort of liquid carbs. I do not care what it is, as long as it's something that makes her feel like she wants to ingest more of it in small amounts on a regular basis. Anything. It could be lemonade, it could be coffee, it could be smoothies, it could be absolutely anything. Just a full 250 milliliters of liquid carbs, like a low liquid carb anything, a couple of times a day, just once or twice a day. I do not care. 1 cup, like a measuring cup of any kind of liquid carbs. I don't care what you ingest. It could be tea with milk, it could be coffee, it could be a caramel macchiato, it could be it could be a slushie, absolutely anything. Absolutely anything. Just make sure that you are hydrating and that you are getting liquid carbs into you until you start getting the hungry feeling. And I understand that that hungry feeling is difficult to come by, especially for people who have an eating disorder. But and that's one thing, too, that we need to remember. People who have eating disorders will completely ignore their bodily needs because they think that that is them paying attention to their body and doing the work towards making themselves better. And it is not. It is not. And one of the reasons that I feel so terrible for Eugenia every single time that I see her, especially nowadays, I know exactly how much pain that girl is in. Bodily, she is in so much pain. Every single nerve ending, every bone in her body has, like, probably feels like, has immense amount of pressure, especially in the joints. Every single muscle is probably just feeling awful and dystrophied. Every single nerve in her body is most likely making her feel like she is burning constantly. And that is not good. That is when you know that you have a severe issue. And the fact that she can be going through that and still ignoring it, I have no idea how it is that she has been keeping up with everything that she does. I'm worried that she might run out of energy and or go into some sort of a heart attack caused by adrenaline, especially since accelerated heart rate is a very common symptom of eating disorders. And no, guys, I am not a doctor. I'm not an expert in absolutely anything. I just know a small amount about the recovery process, and I do think that Eugenia needs to start with, especially right now, some liquid carbs. She needs to get onto liquid carbs until she is able to be able to handle, like, little things like crackers and toast and just a teeny tiny bit of peanut butter, just little snacky things. And then once she can keep the snacky things in and stuff without feeling sick, then you move up to, like, French fries or rice or something just a teeny tiny bit heavier, maybe a little bit of ravioli. I don't think that her going with any kind of a restrictive diet, especially with her being as far gone as she is any type of a good idea. I've been almost to a point where Eugenia has been at. She has been at this point a couple of times, and this is a very terrifying point to be at. I've almost been there. I've never reached that point, thank God. I've had so many people step in and show me that they care about me and make sure that I am having everything that I need, so that I am trying to make sure that I am keeping with my recovery and staying better. But this is not okay. The way that Eugenia's parents and siblings and everybody else in her life other than her friends have been acting is not okay. Let's start the video back up.
I also, yeah, I know I've tried to talk to her before. I know you've tried to talk to her before. There's been many incidents where I would either send a text, or I'm sure I asked her in person at some point. And we did that, like, that Jesse's birthday party. Yeah, so we would get the same response. And it was difficult to see.
like someone that was so sweet, like deteriorating in front of your eyes, and there was nothing you could do about it because they wouldn't open up. And granted, I understand it's a very difficult thing to go through, and like I struggled with an eating disorder for years and still do. And to an extent, I understand how she feels, but we were basically like blocked out from her brain when we would ask if she was okay, and that was just her defense mechanism, whether she realized maybe she had a problem at the time or she just didn't want to talk about it. But we tried a lot.
And we were eventually forced to have to take drastic measures. And that is where I think she's referring to it as bullying. In our defense, it was purely with love, and it was purely to help save one of the most beautiful people we've ever met. The Harley Davidson house. We had... Do we tell the details? I think
Okay, first of all, I don't know how to feel about some of the things in the video, like, because I know Katie. I know Katie Morton. I reached out to her. I have emails with her explaining the situation I was in with Eugenia because I wanted to help her. I tried calling the police. They kind of laughed at me on the phone. They're like, oh yeah, that YouTube girl, like we've been there. There's nothing we can do. We're not mental health professionals. We can't take her. I called mental health professionals and there was nothing they could do because they weren't law enforcement and they could not forcibly enter a home without permission, which is not something that anyone in that household was going to give. So the only thing that I could do, and this was discussed with Katie in emails, so she knows who I am. She knows what we were planning on. So the video with Shane is confusing to me that seemed to be missing, that no one, understood that like there were so many things going on that were toxic in that household that I explained in detail. And it was just glossed over, like maybe they don't think it's a real problem or they don't know the extent of what happened. But the conclusion was that the only thing that I could do was if I had her out of her house and into my apartment or into some other area where the mental health professionals could come and talk to her, and that I would legally be able to let them into my own place. So we had been trying to hang out with Eugenia for a long time. It was very difficult to get a hold of her to spend time with her. If people made videos about her online, or if there was drama surrounding her, negative attention was brought her way, she would become more hidden from the world. She wouldn't want to talk to people as much, and it was very difficult to get to hang out with her. So that's why in this situation we were trying to plan this thing, I was reaching out to people, begging people to stop bringing attention to her because it could have ruined everything.
We needed her to hang out with us.
And she wouldn't leave her house. And finally we got her to leave her house. It was the day after the Super Bowl. That's all I remember because we tried to get her to hang out on the Super Bowl and other days. It was the day after the Super Bowl. I did lie to her. I lied to her. We all kind of did. We pretended we were going to go to an escape room, which is a thing that we would regularly do. So it seemed believable to her and her mom.
Specifically her mom.
Yeah. So I like took screenshots of like pretending that I had gotten tickets and things, and we had a group chat going, and I felt like an asshole. We all kind of did, being like, we're so excited to go to the escape room. And she came over and we sat her down and we talked to her, and it was pretty clear that she had no intention of getting any kind of help. Like she said, maybe I'll go see a doctor in like months from now.
Yeah, it was like 3 months later she was going to be heading home to Connecticut, and she...
Take note of that. Her friends who care about her so much and they know her so well, they fully believed that she had absolutely no intention of getting any kind of help, and she said that she would go see a doctor months later when she goes back to Connecticut. Now, months later, she could have been dead. Like, I'm sorry, but she could have been, and that is a scary, scary situation for your friends to have to think about. And these people obviously love Eugenia so much. And I understand, because she seems like an extremely sweet human being. Like, she seems like a lovely human. And I've seen a lot of YouTubers and people doing commentary videos and such about Eugenia, and they call her a mean girl, and they say that the reason that she hangs out with Jeffree Star is because she gets to be a mean girl around him, blah, blah, blah. If that was the case, she would not have as many friends as she used to. She is a genuinely sweet person when it comes to the people that she interacts with. But the thing is that it is very difficult for a person who has obviously been traumatized the way that Eugenia has, and I am not going to speak on what I personally think could have happened, because I don't know. I don't know her personally. I am simply just somebody who's been worried about her for some reason that I'm not even completely aware of. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't know why this is affecting me so much. I understand that it isn't any of my business. I also know that she's probably never going to see this, but if there is even the teeniest, tiniest, slightest chance that she does ever get to watch this video and hear what I'm saying, that she understands that everything that I am saying with nothing but the most love and support for her, and I just want her to get better so that she does not die. I am extremely worried about her health, her safety, her well-being, the fact that she is still in this horrible environment, this allegedly horrible environment that just makes everything about her environment kind of makes me sad. Because it's almost like she turns on the cameras and then everybody in the house is hiding the type of situation that she is being put in, and she is in this fake it till you make it state, like, oh, as long as I'm on camera, I'm safe, and as long as I pretend that I'm happy, nobody's going to take me away from my family, and then there won't be any negative repercussions on anybody. Which, I get it. I understand. I understand not wanting anybody to get in trouble. But these are the people who you are protecting are the people who are actively endangering you and hurting you and harming you and letting you hurt yourself to a point where you could die, Eugenia. And there are people who only want the best for you, who tried to help you, and you're calling them bullies and nobody is bullying you, honey. Everyone wants you to get better. Everybody wants the best for you. And us being worried about you, I understand. We have our own lives that we should be worried about. We have our own everything. And people are like, you're living rent-free in people's heads. I get it. I get it. I've been there. I've had that mindset. I have been that person. I have been the person in your shoes. But the thing is, you need to start listening to the people who care about you. And never ever listen to the people. Try to get yourself away from the people who are actively hurting you. And I understand that you are in some way Stockholm trauma bonded with these people because they have done nothing to protect you over the years, and they have constantly done you harm, and they have constantly kept you in harmful situations. But you need to show the amount of strength that you obviously have, considering the fact that you can still walk right now. You are Eugenia, you are an extremely strong, amazing human being. The fact that you are even still walking around with your heart beating in your chest and your lungs still taking in air with everything that you are going through and everything that you have put yourself through, you are an amazing human being. And to stay as positive as you do through the amount of situations that you have been through, I understand absolutely everything, and I understand having that I'm gonna snap and turn into a bitch side, which everybody seems to be calling Eugenia's dark side, which I don't completely get, because that literally always just seems like a self-defense mechanism to me. It seems like something that she developed, that Eugenia developed in order to protect herself from specific situations. And you know what? When somebody who has that type of coping mechanism, especially when they are terrified, they bring that out. They bring that out, baby, and it can be scary. It can make everybody around them uncomfortable, and I get it. But the reasoning for that is because my mother and sibling were extremely manipulative. They were extremely abusive. The fact that especially they were not good people. They are not good people, and it's scary the point that some people will go to in order to try to make you think that they are better than you, so that they can control you into doing things that will harm yourself. It's terrifying. So the fact that these three people were trying to help you, and nobody in your family actually wants to help you, and they're all manipulating you into thinking that you are fine, and nobody's actually showing any amount of worry, and they're not letting you go outside, nobody's taking you to a doctor, nobody's making you go to a doctor. I understand you're a 30-year-old woman and nobody can make you do anything, but trust me, somebody can force the situation, like somebody will. If someone actually cares about you, they will try to force the situation, and people who do not care about you will not try. That's just the way that it is. We're gonna finish this video.
Be willing to see a doctor then. So we had to arrange a lot of stuff in advance of this day. This is an intervention. It was heart-wrenching. But what we had to do, we spoke with her, and she for the first time ever in her life admitted that there might have been a problem, and that in a few months she would see a doctor, but at this point
Maybe.
she was honestly on the brink of death. And I
tried the soft approach.
We tried everything.
Like, it didn't work, and I felt desperate.
we also tried police to her house.
We did it, like, I didn't have anything else. Like, I was scared. So we did an intervention, and the mental health professionals showed up.
So it's the Los Angeles Psychiatric Evaluation Team
It's
showed
a
up at the
PET,
house.
yeah.
And they came in and they interviewed her. They asked her questions.
We left the room without her.
We left the room just for privacy of.
We wanted her to open up and be honest with them.
Yeah, because those are real questions that they have to ask. Personal.
So like she could have. It was up to them at this point what happened to her. Like they could have walked away and said everything is fine, but they were like really concerned. So they ended up deciding that they wanted to take her into care, and they ordered something called a 5150, and it's mandatory. They take you
Involuntary
without.
hold.
Yeah. At which point, like, God, like she tried to like.
This was the most traumatic situation I've ever been in my entire life.
Once they decided that they were going to commit her legally, she was unable to leave. Like, the police were on their way because she was on the phone with her mom, who was screaming at me, by the way. She verbatim called me a fucking bitch for doing what I was doing.
How could a friend do this, I believe, to her friends? And, I mean, I don't know if you want to share more on it. It was really messed up.
She called the cops on me and tried to have me arrested for kidnapping.
Correct.
So, when Eugenia was trying to leave, we had 2 sets of cops show up. One to take her into care, and one to arrest me for kidnapping. Clearly, they talked it out, and it was obviously fine. But, like, oh God, and then Edgar, like...
So, please tell me that everybody else heard that. They did an intervention for Eugenia's eating disorder, and Eugenia called her mother and let her know what was going on, and instead of just letting them go through with the intervention and have her taken to an institution, her mother called the police to have her friends arrested for kidnapping. Kidnapping! First off, Deborah Cooney, do you understand how messed up that is? Do you understand how messed up it is stopping an intervention that people set up to try to help your child because you wouldn't do anything? Deborah? Huh? Deborah? Did you think about that? Did you think about how messed up that looks? How messed up you are? You're a messed up individual, Deborah. Deborah fucking Cooney. Ooh. And 2, why? Why the hell? Number 2, why the hell would you go and why would you call the police to have them arrested for kidnapping because they were holding an intervention for your daughter? Is it because when they take her into the institution after they start getting her into recovery and start taking her into therapy, they're not only going to be working on her recovery, they're also going to be trying to get to the root of why the eating disorder started in the first place? And I'm not even going to get into my suspicions on that. All that I am going to say is that her brother be creepy and her dad be allegedly creepy, and there are some things that I have heard in clips and videos. I recommend that you guys go back. Actually, if you have an ED yourself, I do not recommend that you go through any of the videos. I recommend that could be in any way, shape, or form triggering for you to stay away from it, because this has me personally emotionally distraught, but it doesn't make me want to not eat, if that makes any sense. If anything, it makes me want to feed this girl, which doesn't make any sense. Like, I actually want to give her food and get her to a healthy weight, but I can't give her food. Nobody can give her food yet. She needs liquid calories and then rice and or pudding, like something that's really, really light, but really, really like mid carb, like not high calorie, not high carb. She needs like something that's not going to make her sick, something that's extremely light, that's not going to be overfilling. She needs small amounts of decent food, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay, so there's a lot of a backstory with the mom. Eugenia is an adult. She's, I believe, 24, 25 years old. She's never allowed to go anywhere. It's all completely manipulated by the mother. There is a driver, Edgar. Every hang out with friends is an orchestrated pickup and drop off by Edgar, who waits outside. And in this situation, when Eugenia called her mom, and her mom was furious.
Edgar! Deborah! What you hiding? Huh? Edgar! Why are you helping Deborah hide the crap that is going on with Eugenia? What? Edgar, what the fuck? Why are you enabling this? They must be paying your ass so freaking good to be enabling that. I'm serious. I swear to freaking God, they better be giving you like $5,000 a fucking week to help Deborah, Miss Deborah Cooney, enable that bullshit. I'm sorry, I can't. I feel like her name needs to be said with a Valley accent because Deborah, the fuck, Deb. Sorry. Just, ugh! There is a special place. I'm sorry. I just have to say, there is a special, special place in the fiery rings of hell for you, Deb. A very, very special place indeed. And I hope that you are tortured on your way down there for letting your child go through what she has been going through and encouraging to let your child go through what she has been going through and stopping people from helping her. Deborah Cooney, you're a piece of shisa.
Edgar came into the apartment and was banging on the door.
He like followed me into my apartment. Because I had to go out and I had to tell the mental health professionals that she was trying to leave. And he like followed me into my apartment and was screaming at me. He started banging on all of my neighbors' doors until he finally got to mine and figured out where my apartment was. And he's like banging on the door. I was terrified. Like, this was a big guy. He was screaming.
These were not people looking out for Eugenia's best interest. These are people.
So, what I'm hearing is that this gigantic, scary-looking dude was running around an apartment building chasing around 3 literal, barely adults and scaring the shit out of these 2 little girls because he hadn't even found the guy yet. Scaring the shit out of this, at least Jacqueline. Absolutely terrifying this girl because he wants to help Deb cover up whatever the hell is going on that they are doing. I can't. And I'm sorry, has anybody ever seen the clip of Eugenia and Deb like sitting around and Eugenia says something about how she has this memory of somebody like sneaking into her room really late at night when she was quite young, dressed as the little drummer boy, and Deb just immediately gets this weird look on her face and gets extremely defensive, like, that never happened. I don't know what you're remembering, but that never happened. That is a manipulative, narcissistic parent move. And manipulative parents do that kind of shit. Like, they're all like, oh, well, that never happened. I don't remember it, so it never happened. And I'm over here like, excuse me? I remember it clearly. They remember it clearly. Everybody else has a memory of this but you, so why is it that just because you don't remember it happening, it didn't happen? Is because you do remember it happening. You just don't want to say that it happened because it's going to make you look bad. And the weird thing is that being like a manipulative parent, especially like when you have adult kids, it's extremely common. Like, oh, we never laid a hand on you as a child. So I just have these memories of getting literally backhand slapped in the mouth because I answered a question for no reason. Really, Mom? Okay. Okay, Mother. Oh, I never spanked you. No, you made Dad do it. And he never wanted to. He got extremely freaking upset and ran away crying about it. But you don't remember that, right, Mom? You don't remember that? You don't remember screaming at Dad until he spanked us for no reason? because he didn't want to in the first place, and he would literally, like, run away. Okay, so whichever kid he spanked would run crying one way, and my father would run crying the other way, because he never wanted to do that. He was literally yelled at into doing that. But yeah, sure, Mom, you don't remember that. Okay, literally everybody else in our lives while we were growing up remembers it, except for you. Oh, and the fact that you have your son trained to gaslight exactly like you because you constantly spend every single second of every single day with him. Give me a fucking break.
Looking for some form of gain and manipulation in a way that this video, the Shane video that came out today, completely glosses over the real problems and makes us completely worried that she's not okay. The mom was discussed in this video as just going back and forth.
They were always together, so it's difficult to imagine a scenario in which her mother wasn't watching every move, but the lawyer was there.
Correct.
The lawyer was there the whole time. By the way, is also my lawyer, and has been. He texted me a couple days ago to give me an update after months. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. This whole thing to me feels like they are taking someone like Shane, who clearly is good at shining a positive light on people who might not.
I'm going to finish this sentence for her because she has no idea how to say this. Shane is very, very good at shining a very false positive light upon people who do not deserve it, such as Eugenia's parents. Eugenia, however, deserves all of the positivity, all of the support, everything that anybody can give her. She deserves to have somebody actually care about her. And the fact that that her parents and her family actually has her manipulated into thinking that anybody who actually shows that they care about her is bullying her, that's messed up, Deb. You're a messed up bitch.
I don't even know how to word this. I just feel like, yeah, Eugenia's a great person. I love her. I care about her. But the people surrounding her in her life, I feel like, are dangerous. And I think that they were aware of Shane's potential to cover their tracks and make this look like some kind of beautiful recovery story that everyone was in on and rooting for. And it was.
And you know what? That's true. They were fully aware of Shane's potential to cover their tracks, especially without them there. And that's just it. Everything was portrayed as if her parents and her brother were almost never there, but that's just it. They're always there. Eugenia's never actually alone. And I think that they knew. I think that Deb knew that if her and Chip and what's her dad's name again? Evan, whatever. I think that she knew that if all three of them were there at the same time that Shane was there, and he's seen the way that they all interact together, he would have been getting a totally different story on camera, and he probably wouldn't have let Eugenia stay there with them. Because even though I do say Shane does not have anybody's best interest in mind, I also don't believe that he would purposely let somebody I don't believe that he would purposely let somebody stay in an abusive situation without trying to help them. However, I also don't think that he has anybody's best interest in mind, especially with making this video about Eugenia. I personally think that he was just thinking about the amount of views that he's gonna get because Eugenia's back. That's it. And I understand Shane probably does care about Eugenia in some way, but it's not in the way that we think it is. I don't know.
It couldn't be further from the truth. I had to fight them so hard to get her into care, and I'm now viewed as like a bully. We're bullies.
The way her mom screamed at Jacqueline on the phone,
it was terrifying.
Was the biggest red flag of somebody who was killing their daughter. It was fucked up. No mother should fight a daughter failing a psychiatric evaluation and needing to be taken into care.
I just don't know how if I had a daughter that I would let it get that far without doing something myself.
She hadn't been to a doctor in 5 years.
How does that happen?
5 years. Anyways, this video is really hard to make, and
happen. Well, obviously it does happen, but it shouldn't happen. There should never, ever, ever be a situation in which a mother sees their daughter in that condition sees them failing psychiatric evaluations, tries to fight it, fights to get them out of the institution early, does not let them attend therapy. Like, the whole situation is completely messed up. And the fact that these three people tried their hardest to help Eugenia, and now they're being painted by Deb and everybody else in the situation as the bad guys because they actually got the intervention ready and tried to help her. It's messed up. And I really wish that Eugenia could understand. I sincerely wish that Eugenia understood that her family is not showing the type of care about her that they should be showing. I sincerely wish that she understood that the people who she is painting as horrible people who were just trying to help her, they were trying to help her because they love her and care about her. I wish that she understood that she is severely harming herself and that a lot of people are extremely worried about her because we don't want anything to happen to her. And yes, I know that I probably shouldn't be as worried as I am. I understand that it's none of my business. I understand that I have my own life to worry about. But I had to say something. I had to get this out there. And I had to speak my thoughts on the situation just because I do care. I was a Eugenia viewer from the time that I was like 12 years old up until I was like 15. And then I recently just remembered that she still exists, and I looked and I'm just like, oh my god, she's dying. And then I started crying. And I need to preface that the people in my life who did care about me enough to try to help me were actually my friends. They were a couple of friends and my boyfriend and his family. My family, I don't think, even noticed anything was going on ever. Yeah. So, I understand that it's a different situation. Or it might be, it might not be, but I honestly think that Eugenia needs to get out of the situation that she's in. I think that she should definitely reach out to the people, these three lovely people, Jacqueline, Glenn, and Jacqueline, Glenn, King Kilda, and Evangeline. I think that she should reach out to these guys. I think that she should talk to them. I think that she should maybe try to get the hell out of her mother's grasp, at least for a few months, and go stay with her actual friends who actually care about her and care about her well-being. She needs to snap out of the hypnotic state that she has been under, because it's a hypnotic state that she has herself put into that I don't even think that she knows she's in, and we need to help her snap out of it. Like, I just don't like the fact that she is obviously at a point where everything is soon going to fail her. Her entire body is soon going to fail her by the looks of it. And she's even getting black spots in her complexion, all in her skin everywhere, which is sad. She is having so many different side effects now that she never had before 5 years ago. It is scary. And the fact that her whole family is seeing this, the fact that everybody sees this and they can tell it's happening and they know what's happening and nobody is doing anything about it. And then the people who are supposed to be doing something about it are literally just making the people who are doing something and care and showing that they care and trying to help Eugenia look like the bad guys, which is making them feel terrible by the look. Like, look at these poor girls. The amount of sadness and disdain and regret on their faces. And it's because they did something knowing full well that it was going to hurt their friendship. There's no way that doing something like that will not hurt your friendship for a short amount of time at least. But at the end of the day, Eugenia should definitely talk to them again. I do definitely believe, because what they did out of love. And her family is doing what they are doing out of, I don't know what the hell they're doing it out of, but it definitely isn't love and care for Eugenia. Anyways, I love you guys. I will see you in the next video. Love yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Remember to make sure that you are wiping down your kitchen counters so that you don't get bacteria all over whatever you're setting on them. I will see you in the next video. I love yous. Bye-bye. Mwah. Peace out.